Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst, the most accurate mock drafter in the world. Alright, so let's get into an updated mock draft. Haven't done one of these in a few weeks, so I figured with the changes throughout college football season, might be good to get in an update. Alright, got picks for all teams here, so you can click the link below to follow along with the version online and follow along with the picks there and see all of round two. But in this video mock, I'll do the picks in the second round for teams that don't have a first round pick. All right, let's get started. First overall, Titans have them taking Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle from Utah. I think the Titans definitely need to continue to improve the offensive line for Cam Ward. However, I'm not sure Fano will be the guy just yet in terms of the top of the draft first rounder. I'm going to be digging into that more. But, you know, offensive line I think has to be top of mind with the investment the Titans have in Cam Ward. But I will say, if they have that pick, it's going to be really interesting whether the Titans decide to stick with Cam Ward, maybe they decide to draft another quarterback and trade Cam Ward, or, you know, they most likely, I think the most likely situation would be them trading down to a team that needs quarterback help, and then the Titans stockpile picks to build around Cam Ward. But too far out to project any kind of trade in a mock draft. But that's what I think is kind of most likely what would happen. Second overall at this point in time, but things are changing. Here we are, November, still a long ways to go. All right, second overall, I have the Giants taking Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle from Alabama. He really belongs more in the 10 to 20 range, but this is not that strong of a draft in terms of elite talent. There's no Penny Sewell, there's no Jamar Chase. You don't have, kind of rare top shelf talents like that in this draft class. So you're going to have some reaches early in the draft. But I can see Proctor being, I know he's graded as some teams project him between 10 and 20. Feel he has really good talent, just has issues with weight. But the Giants need offensive line help. They need a right tackle to protect Jackson Dart. So have them going with Proctor. Third overall, I have the Browns taking Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama. Obviously, Cleveland is searching for that starting quarterback. We'll see if Shedeur Sanders can lock down that job here over the next games to come to finish out this season, or maybe Dylan Gabriel gets back on the field and plays well and they decide they can roll with one of these guys. But as of right now, I would project quarterback to the Browns. Fourth overall, I have the Saints taking Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from Indiana. Similar to the Browns. We'll see if Tyler Shook kind of locks down that job for the future there with the Saints. But if he doesn't, they're going to have to draft one. Mendoza, big quarterback, strong-armed, pocket passer, definitely has some kind of hidden mobility in there. So I could see the Saints liking him. Fifth overall, I have the Jets taking Dante Moore, the quarterback from Oregon. Sounds like it's kind of 50-50 on whether he goes back to school or goes into the draft. But obviously the Jets need a long-term starter. Justin Fields isn't it. Moore could definitely, I think, be a nice fit in that offense that Tanner Engstrand's running there in New York. Sixth overall, I have the Raiders taking David Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech. He was from Stanford, almost said that. But Texas Tech edge rusher has been lightning fast off the edge this season, really dangerous quarterback hunter. The Raiders, this regime is not the one. Actually, it was 2 regimes ago that took Tyree Wilson in the top 10. He's not turned into the force they envisioned. That regime envisioned him to be across from Max Crosby. I could see them, if the Raiders are picking this high, depending on who's available, I wouldn't rule out a pass rusher to go with Crosby. Seventh overall, I have Washington taking Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame. Love is one of the few, I would say, kind of true elite prospects in this draft, a legit top 10 pick. top 15 pick in any draft class. He is a phenomenal runner, can do it all. Powerful runner, very elusive, has speed to break off long runs, is dynamic in the pass game. He's a phenomenal blocker, really good route runner, excellent intangibles from what I've heard from sources. I think Washington has got to help Jaden Daniels next season. I think there's no way you could help him better than taking Jeremiah Love, who's going to produce better down and distance situations, provide a running game, and consistency in ground game that Washington does not have. I think Love would really be a real asset to Daniels. And then when you add in the zone read runs, that's going to be so difficult for defenses because you're just in a bad situation when you have an elite runner in the backfield and then an elite runner at quarterback. That's going to be really difficult for defenses to defend. So I really love that fit for Washington. 8th overall, I have the Rams taking Brandon Cease, the cornerback from South Carolina. Similar to Proctor, where it's a little high for him, but I know some teams that have him as a potential late one, and cornerbacks can rise through the process, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does that, especially with some good workouts. The Rams have drafted some nice cornerbacks in the mid rounds, but I think they really could use that elite number 1 corner, and I think Cease would be a nice fit there for Los Angeles. 9th overall, I have the Bengals taking Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State. Cincinnati's defense has not been the same since Jesse Bates left. Downs would be a nice replacement, good run defender, good in pass coverage. Think he could be a plug-and-play upgrade for the Bengals. 10th overall, I have the Cardinals taking Lenoris Sellers, quarterback from South Carolina. Really talented football player, big time arm, amazing escapability. Just what he does to avoid sacks is incredible, and he needs to do it because the offensive line that he's had this season has just been terrible. But Sellers has a big time skill set, needs development. It's seeming like Kyler Murray could be on his way out with Arizona, and he was not drafted by this regime, so it would not shock me if they're looking to move on and get a quarterback of their choosing. 11th overall, I have the Dolphins taking Isaiah World, left tackle from Oregon. Miami's got to improve that offensive line, improve that blocking for Tua. World, I think, could be a plug-and-play starter for them. 12th overall, I have the Vikings taking Mansour Delane, the cornerback from LSU. Give them a plug-and-play corner that's going to be a really good fit in that Brian Flores defense. I think the coverage has been lacking in Minnesota. I think they need more long-term cornerback help. I think that would be a good pick for the Vikings. 13th overall, I have Dallas taking Keldrick Falk, the defensive end from Auburn. I think Dallas really could use more defensive edge rush, obviously, to help replace Micah Parsons, but they've really wanted to improve that run defense. You've seen that with the moves that they've made this in the trades with Kenny Clark and then Quinnen Williams, and Falk is a big, sturdy, tough run defender, can set the edge physically, can contribute to the pass rush. I could see with what Dallas is trying to build up front there, he would be a nice fit for them. 14th overall, I have the Ravens taking Zion Young, edge rusher from Missouri. Baltimore could use more young edge rush talent. Here's a guy to go with, Mike Green. 15th overall, I have the Chiefs taking Jordan Tyson, wide receiver from Arizona State. I think this would be a really nice scheme fit. I think Tyson would bring the Chiefs a real reliable, steady receiver that can work that short to intermediate part of the field, can uncover, can be kind of that third down go-to guy for Pat Mahomes. Obviously, Kelsey won't play forever, so I could see this being a really nice fit for the Chiefs. 16th overall, I have the Texans taking Caleb Lomu, the left tackle from Utah. Continue to build up that offensive line. Obviously, it was a huge issue last year. I think the Texans still need to do more work there up front. Lomu, I think, would be a really good fit. He's got a lot of talent, just needs some development and refinement, and I think he could turn into a good pro. 17th overall, I have Carolina taking Ruben Bain, the defensive end from Miami. I think he'd be a really nice fit with the Panthers. Has some similarities to Nick Scorton, and I could see them being a nice duo. And then you have Princely Umanamelian to rotate and give them a trio. But I think Carolina needs more help, needs more pass rush talent. 18th overall, I have the Lions taking Will Helt, the defensive end from Clemson, Purdue transfer. Helt has flashed this year with Clemson. Fast off the edge, good size, plays really hard. I think he'd be a great fit for the Lions. This is a little high for him. I think he's probably really ideally more of a player that gets taken between 25 and say 40. But in this draft, it wouldn't surprise me if he rises, will do well in the interviews. I think he really fits the Lions kind of profile for what they're looking for. Marcus Davenport, Josh Paschal are free agents after this season. They could use a long-term starter across from Aiden Hutchinson. 19th overall, I have the Browns taking Denzel Boston, wide receiver from Washington. I think this would be a really nice fit for them with Ty Simpson because Boston's going to be a big receiver, a red zone weapon, a guy that can go up and get it. He has some similarities to Tet McMillan, who was, the Panthers took in the first round this past year. Drake London's another guy who he's similar to. So I think he could be that nice, sturdy, big, physical, possessional receiver for Ty Simpson, or if they took Mendoza, whichever. I think that would be a nice addition to the Browns offense. 20th overall, I have the Bucs taking Arvell Reese, the linebacker from Ohio State. Obviously, Levante David can't play forever. I think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. Amazing player. Maybe he comes back next year and he can help tutor Reese. Maybe he retires, but you're going to need some young linebacker talent for Tampa Bay, and Reese would be a great value at pick 20. 21st overall, I have the Steelers taking Jermod McCoy, cornerback from Tennessee. Hasn't played this season, but his 2024 tape was so good. Such a good skill set. Steelers need young cornerback talent. McCoy would be a great fit there. 22nd overall, I have the Chargers taking Will Lee, cornerback from Texas A&M. Big cornerback, has speed, athletic, a lot of upside. I think the Chargers need more long-term answers at that position. Lee could be a good fit. 23rd overall, I have the 49ers taking Francis Magoa, the right tackle from Miami. Give them a big, physical, nasty guy up front. They could move him inside to guard, but I think they need to improve that pass protection. Obviously, Trent Williams can't play forever. I'm not sure Magoa really has left tackle ability, but he could be a really good guard or right tackle, and I think this is just a plug-and-play competitor to help San Francisco with the ground game and improve the pass protection. 24th overall, I have the Cowboys taking Cassius Howell, the edge rusher from Texas A&M. Smaller edge rusher, fast guy off the edge, would give them a nice combo with Keldrick Falk, who I had them taking at pick 13. Now you have a really talented young defensive line with your two edge rushers, your veteran defensive tackles. You got the big, sturdy guys and physical guys like Falk, Quinnen Williams, and Kenny Clark, and now you add that speedball, that fast guy off the edge, and Howell. He's a little undersized, but the Cowboys have been willing to take those kind of ends in the past, and I could see them wanting a rusher like that to go with the guys that they have elsewhere on the defensive line. 25th overall, I have the Bears taking LT Overton, the defensive lineman from Alabama. Very versatile defender. You can line him up at end. You can kick him inside to be a 3 technique and rush in the sub package. I think that'd be a really good fit for the Bears in terms of on base downs. You could have him be an end across from Montez Sweat. Then in the sub package, you move him inside. You get some interior juice there to get after the quarterback. Chicago's got to improve the defense. 100% has to improve the defense in the draft next year and free agency. I think Overton would be a nice fit for them, picking in the back half of the first round. 26th overall, I have the Bills taking Amari Washington, the nose tackle from Oregon. This guy is freak show ability in terms of speed and explosion off the ball for a big, heavy nose tackle. You'd like to see a little more production, but the skill set is there and it flashes on tape. So I could see the Bills looking to get bigger, tougher, more athletic on that defensive line. Washington could be a really nice fit next to Ed Oliver. 27th overall, I have Seattle taking Carnell Tate, wide receiver from Ohio State. I think Seattle obviously has to be thrilled with what Jackson Smith-Njigba has done this year. That was a great pick by John Schneider, their general manager. And I think they could use another big receiver across from him to replace DK Metcalf. Obviously, Cooper Kupp's just a short-term addition, but Tate could be that long-term guy to pair with JSN. 28th overall, I have the Jets taking Peter Woods, the three-technique defensive tackle from Clemson. Give them a replacement for Quinnen Williams. I think getting a three-technique that's a legit first-rounder like Woods in this part of the first round at pick 28 is a nice value for the Jets. 29th overall, I have the Rams taking Chris Bell, the wide receiver from Louisville. Give them an A.J. Brown-type weapon to go with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Obviously, given the age, Devontae Adams is not a long-term starter, but I think in the short term, you have a nice trio with them, and then, Adams moves on, and you have Bell and Nacua. Nakua's going to get a big contract, so you're going to have a lot of money tied up there, so it makes sense to save some money across from him, have a first-round talent to lean on, but also he's cheap, so it kind of balanced things out from a salary cap perspective. 30th overall, I have the Patriots taking Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon. This guy is really athletic, has a ton of ability as a receiver, mismatch receiver, quick, very smooth route runner, and really impressive as a blocker. Because a lot of the receiving tight ends in college football, you do not see them attack blocking the way Sadiq does. So really impressive with how he gets after guys, and I think he'd be a great fit there for the Patriots and give them a mismatch weapon for Drake May. 31st overall, I have the Eagles taking Damon Wilson, edge rusher from Missouri, high character guy, kind of has some similarities to Nolan Smith coming out of Georgia, who the Eagles took, and they could use more edge rush. Obviously, Brandon Graham's not a long-term player. Zadarius Smith retired on them. They had other losses in free agency, and I think they could use more young talent at defensive end, and I like that fit for them with Wilson. 32nd overall, I have the Broncos taking Jude Bowery, left tackle from Boston College. Continue to build up the blocking talent in front of Bo Nix. I think in the next year or two, it wouldn't shock me if they look to get younger and cheaper and move on from Mike McGlinchey. Bowery could come in and be that edge protector for their young quarterback. All right, let's get to the teams that do not have first-round picks. First up, we have the Falcons at pick 42. I've had them taking cornerback here, DJ McKinney from Colorado, Damani Jackson from Alabama. I think looking at the cornerbacks in day two, you just kind of find the best one, and that would make a lot of sense for the Falcons. They could use more cornerback talent across from A.J. Terrell. 53rd overall, I have the Jaguars taking Jalen Gillibo, cornerback from Texas. Real divided opinions on him when speaking with scouts. Some love him, some hate him. So that always makes it tough to project. But cornerback position, as one national scout told me, if you end up thinking that you grade the guy in the third round, that means he's probably going in the second. Whatever team likes him enough to draft him is probably going to take him in the second round. It's such a premium and important position. Jaguars traded away Tyson Campbell. They need more long-term answers at cornerback. Here's one with Gillibo. 56th overall, I have the Packers taking Amari Farrell, the cornerback / safety with Indiana. He's played corner with the Hoosiers. Some evaluators think he needs to move to safety in the NFL. I could see him kind of being a hybrid player. Doesn't have the best skill set in terms of size and speed, but he is got excellent instincts, is around the ball, makes a lot of plays there. And lastly, I have the Colts at pick 60, taking Aaron Anderson, the wide receiver from LSU. Give them a speed receiver to go after defenses, replacement for A.D. Mitchell there. So that's the latest mock. Click the links below. I did an updated 2027 mock this week as well. Of course, we got prospect rankings, lots of other great stuff in the blog and the hot press. Check that out on Jeremiah Love. I spoke with a lot of team people about him, so check that out on walterfootball.com. Thank you guys so much for liking and watching and subscribing, all that. My daughter's trying to elbow her way in. So I'll be back with you guys soon. Take care. Love to all of you.